What if I told you there's a real aircraft that looks like a helicopter, but then mid-air, its giant rotors twist forward and suddenly it's flying like a jet? It can land on a rooftop, hover in place, and then outrun almost every helicopter in the world. It sounds impossible, which is probably why Hollywood used it in Mission Impossible. But here's the twist. This machine isn't science fiction. It's very real. This is the CV-22 Osprey, an aircraft that was once called a billion-dollar mistake, yet today is one of the most advanced flying machines on Earth. In this video, we'll uncover how was this bizarre machine invented? Why did it almost get canceled after billions of dollars and years of failures? And how does it actually work? So stay tuned to our channel, The Curious Corner. The idea of combining helicopter flexibility with airplane speed isn't new. As far back as the 1950s, engineers dreamed of an aircraft that could do both. Helicopters were perfect for vertical takeoffs and landings in tight spots, but they were slow, noisy, and had limited range. Planes, on the other hand, were fast and efficient, but needed runways. So the dream was simple. What if we build an aircraft that can do both? In the 1950s and 60s, experimental prototypes like the Bell XV-3 were tested. They proved tiltrotors were possible, but the technology was unreliable and unsafe at the time. Like, what if the motor malfunctioned while rotating mid-air? So the idea was canceled. However, it wasn't until 1981, after the failed Iran hostage rescue mission, that the US military realized it desperately needed a new type of aircraft, something that could fly fast like a plane, but also land anywhere like a helicopter. And so the Osprey project was born. The Osprey was developed jointly by Bell Helicopter and Boeing. Its official designation was V-22 Osprey, but the road wasn't easy. This aircraft combined the complexity of a helicopter and an airplane, which technically meant double the engineering problems. Transitioning between helicopter mode, rotors up, and airplane mode, rotors forward, caused serious instability that engineers hadn't fully solved. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, test flights were rough. There were multiple crashes, some tragically killed crew members, sparking outrage and debate in Congress. Early prototypes had engine and gearbox reliability problems. Since the Osprey depends on a complicated drive system to power both rotors, a single failure could be catastrophic. The flight controls were unlike any other aircraft. Many pilots were still learning how to handle the unique transition between helicopter and airplane modes, which contributed to accidents. Plus, this aircraft was highly vulnerable to a dangerous condition called vortex ring state. Back in April 2000, during a night training mission in Arizona, one Osprey came down too fast while in helicopter mode. Instead of getting clean air through its rotors, it sank into its own swirling air. The aircraft suddenly lost lift and dropped straight from the sky, crashing hard and killing 19 Marines on board. It was a heartbreaking moment that showed just how dangerous this new aircraft could be if pilots weren't trained for that exact situation. Therefore, the costs kept skyrocketing, and critics called it a $30 billion failure. By the mid-1990s, many believed the Osprey would be canceled, but the Pentagon kept pushing, arguing that if it worked, the Osprey would revolutionize military operations. And finally, after more testing, redesigns, and years of delays, the V-22 Osprey entered service in 2007. The US Marines were the first to use it, followed by the Air Force and Navy. But how does it work? To really understand the Osprey, you have to picture the engineering magic happening behind the scenes. Most people think those giant rotors just spin like a helicopter, but the real trick is hidden inside the wings. Both engines are connected by a powerful drive shaft that runs straight through the wing. That means if one engine ever fails, the other can still power both rotors, a critical safety feature that keeps the Osprey from spinning out of control. The flight controls are equally mind-bending. Pilots don't just fly the Osprey, they manage its entire personality shift. In helicopter mode, the controls feel like a chopper's, but as the nacelles tilt forward, the computer smoothly changes the controls to feel like an airplane's. It's a fly-by-wire system, meaning computers translate the pilot's movements into tiny adjustments across the rotors and control surfaces in milliseconds. Without that technology, a human could never balance all those forces at once. Another hidden challenge is the rotor design itself. At 38 feet long, each blade has to act like both a helicopter rotor and an airplane propeller. Engineers shape them with a unique twist so they can lift the aircraft vertically at low speeds and still push it forward efficiently at cruising speeds. It's one of the rare cases where a single piece of equipment has to do two opposite jobs and do them both well. So when you see an Osprey flying, you're not just looking at an aircraft. You're watching a constant ballet of engines, computers, and rotors, all working together to keep this half helicopter, half plane stable in the air with a top speed of 316 miles per hour, a range of over 1,000 miles without refueling, and a 24 troops or 20,000 pounds of cargo capacity with two Rolls-Royce AE 1107C Liberty turboshaft engines. Since entering service, the Osprey has been deployed in Iraq, Afghanistan, and beyond. It can insert troops into hostile zones quickly, extract wounded soldiers, or deliver supplies to remote areas without needing an airstrip. The Osprey's ability to fly fast and land anywhere gives it a unique edge in combat zones. It's also been used in humanitarian missions, delivering aid to disaster-stricken regions where normal planes can't land. But of course, no story about the Osprey is complete without its controversies. The early crashes gave it a bad reputation. Even today, some pilots say it's more difficult to handle than traditional helicopters. It's also one of the most expensive aircraft ever built, with each unit costing over $70 million. Still, despite the criticisms, the Osprey has proven itself in real combat operations, and more than 400 have been built. Today, other nations are interested in tiltrotor technology, and the Osprey stands as proof that the decades-long dream of a plane-helicopter hybrid is not only possible, it's flying right now. So the next time you see the Osprey in a movie, remember, this isn't just movie magic. It's the result of over half a century of trial, error, tragedy, and triumph. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe our channel, The Curious Corner, for more fascinating content.